the big singles title here. Françoise Dur in 67, Mimi Jausevic in 77, and Mandlikova in 81.
So much fun to watch Gabriela play. She just brings it all back to people who have become jaded by the game, seeing so many monotonous players going back and forth on the baseline. Gabriela singing a song back there. Just to go back to that close match, the Sabatini-Evert encounter the last time they met. Sabatini was asked how she could play a player such as Chris and stay with her so much. They said, how can you possibly have been out there thinking that way? Gabriela said, the cheers I got after the first set gave me power and energy.
I just loved it when she said that.
Gabriela's name has been prominently mentioned in the conversations they've had this week in Paris about young players not being allowed to play until they finished high school, or whatever arbitrary rules they create.
Big ITF meeting, a commission has been formed, as a matter of fact, to deal with this subject of when tennis players, particularly on the women's side, should be allowed to play professional tennis. Should they be 16? Should they be 18? Should they be limited in how many events they can play a year? The problem, of course, being that of burnout. So many kids playing the tour, starting so young, and then just fading away from too much pressure, too many injuries. Pato Ape, Gabriela's coach, spoke at that meeting on behalf of Gabriela and himself, a very astute coach, very knowledgeable and plenty of wisdom. And he had some interesting things to say.
Chris Evert-Lloyd in front 2-1. That service game for Sabatini, not as smooth as the first. Battling here in the semifinals of the French. Mary Carrillo spoke to Steve Flink earlier today about his view of the match.
Mary, they met twice, Chris winning 6-4, 6-love in Hilton Head in the finals, and then only 5 days later they met in Amelia Island, and it was 6-1, 1-6, 6-3 in a very dramatic duel. But I think at this stage, Chris Evert-Lloyd is probably playing 20 to 25% better. Gabriela Sabatini, slightly less effective. I think she was in peak form in those days. I think Chris is too solid. I think the rallies are going to be excellent, but at this stage, Sabatini is flashy and too erratic, particularly off the forehand side, and I think Chris will win the match in 2 sets.
Of course, so many of you can see Steve in his commentary on television, radio, and in print. And here's Chris Evert-Lloyd and Gabriela Sabatini. First point, Chris serving at 2-1. Up a break already. really surprised me about that Chris Evert-Lloyd-Sabatini match was when I first heard the score that Sabatini had gone to 3 with Chris. I said, well, Chris, slow starter. Sabatini won the first set, and then Chris won the next 2. But that wasn't the case.
No, it certainly wasn't.
Chris buried her in the first set, and then...
That's right. And Chris had a very important point in the second set. And Gabriela played the point between her legs for a winner. It shook Chris up. Gabriela went on to win that second set. And it was just some of the most fun I've had watching tennis in a long time. Tough shot to try from there. Normally, Gabriela's shot selection is not that ambitious. She's a very thoughtful player for one so young. She's got a wonderful court sense, that unique sixth sense that you just can't teach people. That one hit the line and skidded below the racket of Gabriela. 40-15. Chris has been in control of these last 2 games. On the line. Such a bold shot. And Gabriela has the facility to take these balls so early and still get a lot of topspin. That's just what she did here. Boom. Big wrist snap. Plenty of body into the shot. She still faces a game point by Chris. 40-30. No reason for that error, Chris is saying to herself. Chris says about playing Gabriela, unless you come in on every point like Martina or Hana, she keeps you 10 feet behind the baseline on every shot. She said that's a very demanding match for we baseliners physically to play. Nice serve, hit the sideline.
Chris Evert-Lloyd holding and leading 3-1. You know, Mary, we're watching Gabriela Sabatini. We're wondering, is she the one? In 15 years, is she going to be on Chris Evert-Lloyd's side of the net? You had a chance to be with John McEnroe when he was on the verge.